This has massive implications for the Bucks organization with so much uncertainty surrounding the availability of their star players. How will the Bucks organization respond? What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Nathan Burton, here with Bucks Digest, your number one source on YouTube for all things Bucks. Thank you for being here with me today. I'm going to dig right into it. We need to talk about the injury status of our star players, Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Of course, we know Damian Lillard was recently diagnosed with deep vein thrombosis. Usually this is a very, very serious injury, but there is some optimism within the organization that he may be back sooner than expected. I'll talk to you guys about that. Giannis Antetokounmpo is also on the injury report with a foot injury. I'll talk to you guys about what his long-term outlook looks like and what this means for us as we enter into the last 10 games of the season. Now, before I go any further, I just want to ask everybody to please hit that subscribe button. We're chasing down 3,000 subscribers. You guys have been hitting that subscribe. I really appreciate it. Please keep doing so. So let's first talk about Damian Lillard. Like I said, we all know he was diagnosed with deep vein thrombosis. Very serious injury. I talked in the previous video about the blood clots and how, when Wembanyama went down, Oscar Thompson later this year, and of course the cases we know from the past like Chris Bosh and whatnot. Now, there is some optimism that Damian Lillard may be able to return this season, which I was shocked to read, honestly, because this is not an injury I've seen another player come back from with any kind of quickness. Now, I dug into it a little further, and I was reading an article by Joel Wolfond, who reports for The Score. He interviewed a hematologist in Toronto, and the doctor explained that there's two different types of blood clots in this situation. There's provoked and unprovoked blood clots. Now, unprovoked blood clots are the more serious kind. This is the kind that ended the career of Chris Bosh and other players in the past. The good news is that Damian Lillard's blood clot, if you can say there's a good news about a star player having a blood clot, is that his is a provoked blood clot, meaning it's in response to the calf injury he was dealing with. It didn't just materialize. So in general, these type of blood clots are easier to treat, and they're also less likely to replicate, to happen again. So that's all good news. Now, of course, I went on to read that the doctor also stated that the typical time for a player, for a person rather, or a player to recover from deep vein thrombosis is 3 months. So that would take us through the playoffs, and we wouldn't see Dame anymore. So, it's I guess cautiously optimistic to hope that he's going to come back. But if a doctor is saying that 3 months is like the minimum time it takes for someone to recover from this, then I don't know, I start to get a little more doubtful, unfortunately. He's on blood thinners as well, which means, although basketball is not a full contact sport like football or something like that, it's still considered a contact sport. They still can't have players playing on blood thinners, and he would have to pass the NBA fitness panel in order to be approved to return. So there's still a lot of questions surrounding Damian Lillard's health and ability to come back. I definitely don't think we'll see him ready for the first round of the playoffs. Maybe not even the second, but of course, if the Bucks can make a run and Damian can come back and be the same guy late in the playoffs, that would be amazing. So, again, our thoughts and prayers are with Damian Lillard and his family. Hopefully he's recovering well. So we know what Damian Lillard means to the team as well. We're winning 61% of games when he's in the lineup and 41% when he's not. So again, just get well, Dame, and get back on this court for us. So we have to look at down the stretch here. Giannis is also dealing with a foot injury. Now, it seems to be minor. He's questionable for tonight's game against the Knicks. But, of course, they need to be super cautious with Giannis down the stretch here. I mean, they need to have this guy in bubble wrap. If we lose Giannis to any type of injury, then we are toast. But I'm going to bring up the standings here real quick for you guys. So right now the Bucks are in 6th. So they're likely going to play the Pacers. We've talked about this. The Pistons have a small chance of ending up being the team they play. But the Knicks increasingly have a chance to end up playing the Bucks in the playoffs. They're on a pretty poor stretch right now, losing games, and the Pacers are winning games. So there's about a 60% chance that we end up playing the Pacers, and a 30% chance maybe we end up playing the Knicks. Now, it's very unlikely that the Bucks will fall into the play-in spot. With Atlanta, they still have a 5 or 6 game lead. So there's not much danger of that. I can bring up the probabilities here as they stand right now. 66% we're going to play the Pacers, 30% we're going to play the Knicks, and 3% we're going to play the Pistons. So, I mean, out of those teams, I mean, most Bucks fans would rather play the Pistons, if anyone, but it's a very small chance we're going to end up playing that team. But I don't think the Bucks brass are worried about where they finish. I mean, outside of course, we don't want to lose so many games we fall into the play-in bracket. But outside of that, I don't think we're stretching, trying to get to the 3 spot. Of course, home court advantage would be ideal. But the Bucks have come out and said before they're not too worried about playoff seeding. They know if they get in healthy, they have a good chance against anyone. And I think this is the facts. So what does this mean for Giannis? Giannis, there's only 10 games left in the season. Okay? Now, I expect Giannis to play at least 5 of those because that's what he needs in order to qualify for the end of season awards. Although a lot of reports won't give Giannis much respect when it comes to the MVP conversation. I mean, he is still up there in those rankings, and I'm sure his camp would love him to finish at least with another 5 games under the belt before the season ends. So the question is, which games will Giannis sit and which games will he play? I think one to look forward to is this Saturday when the Bucks play the Hawks. I think it's all hands on deck for this game. Again, the likelihood of the Bucks falling into the play-in bracket is very small as is, but a win over the Bucks over the Hawks on Saturday would likely cement them at least into the 6th spot outside of the play-in, and that is really probably the most important game left on the calendar. So it brings into question other guys as well, when do we rest some other veterans and other tired legs to get them ready for the playoffs? So, I mean, you look at a guy like Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis is going to be coming back with 4 games left in the regular season. So I could definitely see down the stretch of the season us resting some guys like Brook Lopez, some more rest for Giannis. Really, anybody, any veteran, any tired legs, get them a bit more rested for the playoffs, and then get Bobby Portis in playing big minutes and get his legs under him and back at NBA speed, of course. So it's going to be interesting to see the lineup decisions that the Bucks have to make down the stretch. Now, we have a big game tonight against the New York Knicks. It would have been a big game. I mean, if everyone was healthy. With Giannis out and Jalen Brunson out, I mean, we would normally be looking at this game as a playoff preview, but as it stands right now, this game won't mean much with the best player really on both sides not playing. It's very unlikely that the Bucks were going to catch the Knicks in the standings anyway, even with the poor play of late from New York. since New York already has the tiebreaker over the Bucks. The Bucks have lost 2 games already this year to the Knicks and been outplayed handily by them. I, for one, as a Bucks fan, am hoping that we end up with a first-round matchup against the Pacers or the Pistons. The Knicks have really had our number when they're healthy, so we'll have to see how all that shakes out. I want to know what you guys think, man. Who's our best matchup for the playoffs? Who would you like to see? And what kind of decisions do you think that the Bucks should be making down the stretch with the lineup? I think as long as we're in the 4, 5, or 6 spot, then I don't think we should be playing everyone, trying to win every game down this stretch. We're not going to end up a play-in team, and with a little bit of shuffling, sure, between the 3 and the 6 spot. But I would like them to, of course, finish with home court advantage. But really, the Bucks just need to prioritize health at this time. We need to go in with Giannis healthy. We need to go in with Brook Lopez healthy. We need to go in with players like Kevin Porter Jr. and AJ Green maybe playing extra minutes down the stretch and gaining some confidence. That's how we get into the playoffs and play our best ball. But please let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below. Of course, hit that subscribe button. We'll be back soon on Bucks Digest. Have a good one.